So now we've gotten dual pre-approved, we found our house, our realtor has been able to put a purchase agreement together, and we're under contract. The next piece of the puzzle is going to be your HUD consultant. Now, the HUD consultant isn't going to be used in every makeover mortgage project. However, if you are working on an FHA 203K, or if you're working on a project that has a renovation budget north of roughly $50,000, more than likely you're going to be using a HUD consultant. That HUD consultant's most important job is to perform the initial site visit with you. What they're going to do is they're going to walk around the project with you. They're going to put together a scope of work. They're going to take pictures. They're going to do video. They may put together some small drawings, and their job is to figure out if the project you'd like to do can be done. So this is a person that's required by the bank to work with, and they kind of oversee the process as it goes. So this person has some background renovation experience, they have some estimating experience, and more than anything, they know all of the minimum housing standards that have to be met for the lenders. So after you meet with that client, the next thing that they do is they are going to work with your contractor to put the scope of work and bid into the right format. So there's a format that's very easy for you to understand and you to read and work with the contractor on. But there's another format that the lenders require in order to push it through underwriting. So the HUD consultant's job is to convert that easy to read bid or scope of work into what's called the SOR, and that's the paperwork that goes to the lender. The next piece, once the job closes and the project starts, the HUD consultant's job is to kind of oversee the project, make sure that the project's being completed quickly or on time, whatever that might look like, and that good work is being done. Along this way, they are going to be called back for two different things. One is to look at and figure out a change order if need be. The other is going to be to make sure that your contractor is doing good work and getting paid for it. So when a draw is asked for by the contractor, this means they've completed a couple pieces of your project and now they're owed some money. They ask the HUD consultant to come out. He will inspect the project, make sure that the things the contractor asked to be paid for are done and done properly, and then he fills out his paperwork and sends it to the lender. Once the lender has confirmation that the work was done right, they then issue payment to that contractor. So the HUD consultant is kind of an overseer or a project consultant, if you will, that makes sure your project is set up properly and make sure that it progresses properly, and ultimately make sure that that contractor is paid for a job well done. So again, the HUD consultant's not going to be used in every makeover mortgage process. However, in the majority of the projects that we've run into thus far, the HUD consultant plays a vital role. Now on to the next and arguably the most important piece to this puzzle, which is your contractor. Once you meet with your HUD consultant and put together your scope of work and your list of minimum, repairs that have to be done, it's time to start searching for that contractor. In this instance, we are going to highly recommend that you work with a Makeover Renovations preferred contractor. These contractors have been trained, they understand the process, and they understand all of the additional paperwork and line item bidding and other nuances that come with these projects. So your first role as a contractor is going to be to create the actual bid. So they're going to walk the project with you, talk about the scope of work, and they're going to put costs and numbers onto that scope of work and create a bid for you. The next thing they're going to do is complete the work. So once that loan closes and they're able to start working, they get to complete it. A lot of contractors have the ability to get the work completed. These next two pieces are the hard part. All contractors must be validated by the lender. Now to do this, they have to turn in a handful of paperwork to that lender that basically shows they've got very good standing with banks, with suppliers, with other clients, and they can get that job done. This part, although sounding pretty easy, is often a very difficult task for contractors to do because contractors like to do construction and work on projects, not do paperwork. The last piece that also falls under the paperwork side of things is they have to follow all of the renovation loan regulations to engage in the project. So they have to be validated by the lender, and they have to put their bid in a very specific format in order for both you, the appraiser, and the lender to understand. So although you can use whichever contractor you'd like, in this case, we highly recommend that you work with a contractor who is either part of our Makeover Renovations preferred list or has done a renovation loan project in the past. If you fail to work with somebody who's done one of these projects, you are going to get yourself in a world of headache because they won't know what they're doing, they won't know how the process works, and ultimately it's going to result in slowing that process down and creating a lot of headaches for yourself. However, if you've got a contractor that you'd love to use, just like on the realty side, we have a Makeover Renovations Preferred Contractor training course. This is another course that you can ask your contractor to go through and to take, and that's going to get him up to snuff. It's going to teach him how the process works, and it's going to allow him to better help you. However, this piece does take some extra time, and what you'll find with this process is time is of the essence. So working with one of our preferred contractors or with a contractor who's done one of these projects is going to be vitally important. And the last piece of this puzzle is you. You're already off to a great start. You're watching the Makeover University client course that's going to give you a summary about this whole process. It's going to tell you how it works, why it works, and ultimately, which teammates you need to get involved to make the process run smooth. So, great start already, understanding the process. The next thing you're going to need to do is follow the steps properly. If you jump out of order, or if you work with somebody who doesn't quite fit the mold, it's going to make the process more difficult. This could be on any level. If you pick a lender that doesn't get you dual pre-approved, if you work with a realtor who doesn't know how to shop like an investor, if you work with a contractor who doesn't understand the validation paperwork and won't put a bid in the proper format, this process is not going to be fun for you. You need to follow the steps, and you need to make sure that everybody on your team is on the same page. Finding somebody with experience, having already done these projects is going to give you a huge leg up. The next thing you're going to need to do is just go shopping. Go and find that house. Have fun. You're trying to find the house that you're ultimately going to turn into or create to be the house of your dreams. So this is a very fun process. You're able to go shop for houses like nobody else does and turn them into exactly what you want. So you're already off to a great start. Watch the entire course, pay attention, and follow the steps the best that you can.